How's it going? Welcome to this video. Now in this one I've got a real specific video on exactly how you can automate your appointment setting and outreach for your marketing agency. So without further ado, let's jump right into this here today. So I've split this video into two sections. First of all, your first steps, and then after that, how do you actually train your appointment setter, okay? So without further ado, let's jump straight into this first section here by unhighlight this. You need to ensure you have a proven system in place to set the appointment. So in order for any of this to work, what I really don't want you to do, because you're going to have to pay an hourly rate or a flat fee for a person to come in and do your outreach. So if you have all of that in place and you're going to start spending money, I don't want you to just dump money aimlessly. What I would rather you do before you start paying somebody to automate it is have a proven system to consistently generate appointments and customers. Once you've got that, then you're in a position to be able to train somebody and fully automate this. So may go without saying, I just don't want you to dump money into an appointment setting system if you actually don't have a proven way to do it yet. But once you've ticked that off, happy days. What is next? Well, next up, you want to find a VA on Upwork or People Per Hour, or even, which I haven't even put on here, onlinejobs.ph, okay? So obviously we've got Upwork here. Very simple, you can find talent, you can search for it, okay? So very simply, you'd want to find an admin assistant or a virtual assistant, somebody there to be able to do this for you. My biggest recommendation for you though, if you're on a budget, and especially considering most appointment setting outreach based jobs are very much admin related tasks, something that can just be completed very easily once there's a system in place, I would actually go ahead and recommend here onlinejobs.ph. Now, basically what this is, it's an online job board for virtual assistants that are based in the Philippines. I've found on here super affordable virtual assistants for $3, $4, $5 per hour. This would be my recommendation. Only downside to online jobs, there is a cost involved with actually setting up your account. You can cancel it. It's like, I think it's a monthly subscription for $70 per month, and that allows you to post jobs on the platform, whereas Upwork's free. But what I will say, if you can find somebody for $3, $4, $5 per hour compared to an Upwork where realistically it'd be like more like $4, $5, $6, $7 per hour from experience, if you can find somebody for $3, $4 an hour, you're gonna save a lot more than the $70 you pay to actually, use this platform in the first place. Really, really, really fantastic. I found a lot of the Filipino virtual assistants here are great with English, very responsive, very, very willing to work on your time zones and stuff like that, which is fantastic, okay? So obviously, next up is to do that. So you want to find your job, make a job post about exactly what you're looking for. You want to sift and scan, deselection process, get rid of anybody who's not a good fit, and the people that are a good fit, interview, set those chats, and find a virtual assistant, okay? So a couple of tips, you've gone ahead, you've made the decision to hire. What is the next steps when it comes to training your appointment setter? Well, first things first, you need to be super, super clear with your communication and break it down step by step. Not to be condescending or anything like that, but what you've got to understand is the people you are hiring here are not necessarily the highest in terms of talent. They're virtual assistants, they spread themselves very thin, they can do a lot of admin related tasks. A lot of the time here as well, English isn't necessarily their first language or their strongest language. So you've just got to be very, very clear with the task at hand that you give them. If you were paying 20, 30 grand a year for a salary, yeah, you can kind of be a bit more broad. This is the job, go and do it. With a virtual assistant, you're paying $3, $4 an hour. You have to understand they're that cost for a reason, okay? They're not necessarily experts, they're virtual assistants. So what you need to do is just be very, very clear with your communication and take accountability. Like if you don't spell it out for them, and what I would recommend is if you have a set way of doing it, break it down in video format and even in like a document that says step by step, like every small little step, click this button, do this, send this, break down exactly what they need to do. That's the trade-off, right? The more specific you can be, because it's an admin related task, you can get a virtual assistant to do it very affordably. And again, the more affordable your virtual assistant, the lower the cost for you to actually set appointments, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you have a VA do 10 hours of appointment setting in to get you one appointment as an example, right? And you're paying $5 an hour, you've just paid $50 for that appointment. So, the more affordable the VA, essentially the cheaper it's going to cost you to acquire customers. So it is important. There is a trade-off with that, but the trade-off is you have to be super clear with your communication and just make sure you break everything down as simply and as step-by-step as possible. And if you don't do that and there's mistakes, you can't get fun, like it's your own doing. So take some accountability on that, okay? Next up, when you are training these VAs, this is probably the most important tip in here. This is a tip that just goes full force across all areas of the business. Leverage your time input. Look, this has been one of my biggest lessons in the last 1 to 2 years, because as somebody who's got a fast growing company, lots of moving parts, I've got the training business, I've got the agency, we've got offices, staff, I've got dozens and dozens of clients, probably hundreds of clients, honestly, between the coaching business and the agency. So, with that in mind, I'm busy. So what I don't want to do, my biggest pet peeve, is wasted time. It's our best resource. We can't get it back. So I want you to, and if you can adopt this from an early stage of your business, it will save you so much wasted time. Just leverage the actions that you do and leverage your time. A prime example of this is when you are doing the training and you create these documents and stuff, don't just do don't do it on a one-on-one call where you just train them on a call. And if you do that, record it, because then if that virtual assistant ends up not being the best fit and you have to get rid of them and hire somebody else, if you've done all that training, you're going to have to do all that training again, okay? If further down the line that's going really well and you want to double up, you want to hire a second, third, fourth, fifth VA, you don't want to have to manually input all of that time again. So leverage your time with the training. Film videos, have documents. If you do jump on calls, get those calls recorded and put them into almost like a training area for that next virtual assistant to go through. So you do it once, you leverage that time, you do that time input once, and next time you hire a VA, or if you have to fire and hire another, you just put them through that same video training. And besides the time it takes for you to find the VA, you don't have that whole onboarding training time input. You've automated and systemized that. So super, super, super important that you do that, especially for scale. It's quite a high-end tip there, but so valuable, and something that, myself now, as we scale up, I'm really looking into where everything I can do that leverages my time. Okay. Now, after you've done that, what you want to do, the VA, you've found them, you've got the proven system, you've leveraged your time, you've got training in place. Okay. The next thing you want to do is actually have fair key KPIs, which KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. Basically, what this means is there's certain stats and things that you want them to hit, okay? So this could be you want to hit them a certain amount of outreach per hour. This could be you want them to set, hit a certain amount of, like a email sent per hour, per day, per week, whatever. You need a KPI for them to work towards as a base, okay? And you can have base ones and you can have stretch KPIs. You could build bonuses and additional benefits attached to if they hit the stretch KPI. You can get experimental with this. What you've got to be very mindful of, though, if you're having somebody to automate the outreach, your KPI, I think, should be more so for your VA set on the front end rather than the back end, meaning you shouldn't have your KPI attached to how many meetings set, because that may be a KPI that's down to your, if this is doing maybe cold email, could be down to your subject lines, etc., etc. So I would have the KPI based off of the amount of leads that they reach out to as that KPI, because if the rest of your, as I put this top section here, if you have that proven system, you should know if you put 100 leads in the top, you get X amount of meetings, X amount of closes. So you just need the appointment set to focus on that front end number. Okay, that would be my tip. So have a fair set KPI, which kind of, I would monitor this to be built to the KPI that you were kind of hitting yourself, okay? And then have them some kind of Google Sheet or something for them to input this into, so you can track every single day exactly the input and the actions that they are taking. Monitor and track this yourself on a daily to weekly basis and build this into your calendar. Another thing for leveraging time is leveraging this up here. Your brain is a terrible office, okay? It's not good at remembering a bunch of things. As you get busy, you need to write stuff down. So if you know you have certain actions and things to do on a weekly basis, don't just try and think, oh, I need to check my calendar today. Don't be just like kind of clueless with it. Have structure. This is what the best entrepreneurs in the world do. Put it into your calendar. Every Friday at 10 a.m. I am going to check my VA's KPIs for the first, for 15 minutes or for 30 minutes and build in, improvements, ways that we can improve, etc., etc., etc. Build that into your calendar. Remove it from just like having to remember. Build it into your calendar so it's automated and like almost the action is automated. You just need to do it, and then obviously have that sheet for them to track, and also build fair KPIs for them to hit. And then finally, what I've got on here, once you've done that, is just more of an understanding that it's likely that mistakes are going to happen at this level because you're paying a really low cost virtual assistant. But at the end of the day, business is just problem solving. So if you have issues and problems, you don't just need to fire that VA and go and find another one. That's more time intensive. Unless they're making like ridiculous mistakes where it's like they're making like loads of silly ones, then yeah, you may need to find someone else. But if it's just small things like a small error here, a small error there, just monitor this, track it, and then pull the VA up on it, make them aware of their issues and problems, and then plug the holes. Make sure that doesn't happen again. Just communicate with them, okay, what can I do to make sure that this mistake doesn't happen? And just keep plugging those holes. And then when you do that, obviously after a few weeks, you should have a really flawless outreach appointment setting system. And as I just put here as a final note, this is kind of a trade-off with hiring a super affordable VA. Like I've already said, if you're paying someone 50, 60, 100 grand a year, you wouldn't expect this. You would just say, just go and do this job, get me more customers, okay? And then they use their initiative, they go and do it. But at this level, you just have to be mindful that that is the trade-off. And there we have it. So hope you found a bunch of value. Let me know if you have any more questions on this. I'd be more than happy to make more content on it. And if you are interested, by the way, in any high-level training, you want to know specifically, in screen exactly how you can find a virtual assistant, how you can train them, how you can acquire customers, set appointments. If you're looking to start and build your agency, I do have the link down below to all my training, including the Academy program, which has over 400 resources, and also my one-on-one guaranteed success coaching, which is very extremely limited right now. But if you look in the description, there may be some spots available. If not, the waitlist should be there for you to join. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.